Ukraine has just achieved a groundbreaking victory on the battlefield, one that didn't involve a single Ukrainian soldier. Instead, a swarm of drones forced a group of Russian troops to surrender, marking a historic shift in how war is being fought. On July 9th, the Kyiv Independent reported on a remarkable operation conducted by Ukraine's 3rd Separate Assault Brigade in Kharkiv Oblast. Using a coordinated assault of FPV and ground-based kamikaze drones, Ukrainian forces overwhelmed a Russian position. In the end, a small group of Russian soldiers surrendered, not to humans, but to machines. While specific numbers haven't been released, we know the operation occurred in Kharkiv, one of the focal points of Putin's summer offensive. Russia has claimed it crossed into the Oblast and captured a border village, but according to the BBC, further gains are unlikely unless Moscow commits more troops. Regardless of those ambitions, Ukraine's drone-led operation may be the start of a counter-offensive powerful enough to push Russia out of Kharkiv entirely. The method was straightforward. The 3rd Brigade unleashed a barrage of FPV drones and ground-based kamikaze units, relentlessly bombarding the Russian position. Under this intense robotic onslaught, the Russian troops, unable to move or defend themselves, ultimately raised a white flag. Without a single Ukrainian soldier nearby, they surrendered to machines. Those same machines then escorted the captives back to Ukrainian positions, possibly with additional FPV drones monitoring them from above to ensure compliance. This wasn't just a tactical success, it was a symbolic one. The Russian position had resisted multiple human-led assaults before, yet drones succeeded where soldiers couldn't. Ukraine's 3rd Separate Assault Brigade celebrated the achievement in a telegram post, calling it an unprecedented victory, an entire enemy position cleared, and prisoners taken without a single Ukrainian foot soldier or casualty. Drones and robotic systems handled everything. Details from that post describe how the robotic units stormed enemy fortifications using both FPV and NRK kamikaze drones. As one ground drone approached a destroyed dugout, the Russians, fearing another blast, surrendered. Survivors were taken prisoner and transported using drones referred to as birds. It was these same positions that other Ukrainian units had failed to seize, yet they were captured by what the brigade called clearly planned offensive actions carried out by machines. The operation even provides hints about the equipment used. Among the ground drones were so-called Troika robots. If these are the same as those used in international airports, they resemble Daleks from Doctor Who and can autonomously navigate terrain, answering basic questions in multiple languages. Though it's uncertain whether Ukraine's Troikas are exactly the same, the thought of a tourist-assisting robot now guiding surrendering Russian troops is a darkly amusing twist. Credit for the assault goes to the NC-13 unit of the Deus Ex Machina Company, part of the 2nd Assault Battalion. It's now officially the first confirmed modern combat operation to use only unmanned platforms to force an enemy surrender. Ukraine even released footage of the mission. Published by the Kyiv Independent, the video shows a ground drone with oversized tires moving along a dirt path, carrying an explosive payload protected by a metal cage. The drone reaches the Russian foxhole and detonates, engulfing it in flames. As the footage continues, aerial FPV drones appear. One hovers over the dugout, confirming its target before exploding in a fiery burst. More drones follow, each arrives without resistance and detonates in turn. Eventually, the Russians emerge from their trench, displaying a handmade sign indicating their desire to surrender. Moments later, 2 Russian soldiers lie on the ground beside their sign, awaiting capture. A Ukrainian soldier approaches to retrieve them, likely guided by drones all the while. This was the first operation of its kind. No Ukrainian soldiers were physically present until after the Russians surrendered. It's just the latest innovation from the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade, one of Ukraine's most effective fighting forces. Formed in 2022 from remnants of the Azov battalions following the siege of Mariupol, the unit quickly proved itself. Integrated into Ukraine's Special Operations Forces, it became a mobile, elite brigade capable of advanced operations. Its history is full of victories. In April 2023, it helped liberate Kherson. During the battle for Bakhmut, even as the city eventually fell, the 3rd Brigade managed successful attacks, forcing Russia's 72nd Brigade to retreat. Later that year, they briefly liberated Andreevka, proving again their offensive capability even in adverse conditions. In 2024, they moved to Avdiivka, reportedly killing 1,500 Russian soldiers, wounding 3,500 more, and destroying 20 armored vehicles. By May 2025, they had inflicted another 600 Russian casualties in Kharkiv, where they've operated for over a year. In August, they reclaimed over 1 square mile of territory, while outnumbered 2.5 to 1. These elite troops have repeatedly done the impossible, and now they've added robotic warfare to their arsenal. With this success, they've introduced a method to capture enemy troops without endangering Ukrainian lives. Putin once feared the 3rd Brigade. Now he faces an evolved version, one that can deal immense damage without any direct risk. Ukraine's use of ground robots is becoming a trend. The July 9th strike not only showed their offensive capability, but also introduced a new role, guiding surrendering enemies. Ground robots have even been used to save lives. Back in May, Ukraine's 13th Kharkiv Brigade revealed a drone designed to evacuate wounded soldiers. Similar in design to the 3rd Brigade's machines, but larger and with space for an injured person, this drone traveled more than 7 miles to retrieve a soldier and return him to medics. These robotic systems aren't theoretical. They're already being deployed in the field, both to protect Ukrainian lives and to attack Russian forces. This brings us to what this means for the war. The 3rd Brigade's July operation unveiled a new tactic, drone-led offensives that don't require risking personnel. It's well-timed. Russia has adjusted its approach, sending smaller, faster groups of troops in coordinated attacks. These tactics force Ukraine to adapt, and the response may well be automation. Instead of risking soldiers, Ukraine can flood enemy foxholes with drones. These don't even need to kill. They just need to cause chaos until the Russians surrender. That's exactly what happened in Kharkiv. The Russian troops might have believed they could wait until nightfall, but they didn't anticipate Ukraine's switch to robotic assaults. The drones broke their will. Beyond tactical advantages, the strategy solves a deeper issue. Ukraine is struggling with manpower. Russian casualties have surpassed 1 million, but Ukraine has also suffered greatly, with reports suggesting between 60,000 and 100,000 soldiers killed and hundreds of thousands more wounded. Recruitment is becoming a crisis. Many volunteers are already on the front lines with few replacements arriving. Even US President Donald Trump acknowledged the issue in talks with Zelensky. To cope, Ukraine began voluntary recruitment of 18 to 24-year-olds in March 2025, below the regular conscription age of 25. But now, robotic warfare could offer relief. If Ukraine can expand this approach pioneered by the 3rd Brigade, the reliance on human soldiers could be reduced. Fewer Ukrainians would die, and recruitment pressure would ease. Analysts at the Center for Strategic and International Studies say this shift must happen. Ukraine's population has fallen from 52.5 million in 1991 to just under 38 million in 2024. Demographics are against Ukraine, so a future force must rely more on unmanned systems. What the 3rd Brigade did on July 9th might be the first major step in building that future. Ukraine is already investing heavily in this path. According to Forbes, it plans to field up to 15,000 ground robots in 2025. Over $150 million was spent in the first quarter alone. Innovators are developing new robot designs almost weekly, many of them modular, built like Lego, to serve specific battlefield purposes. The shift toward a drone-powered army is not just coming, it's already here. Ukraine's July 9th operation proved that ground robots can do things no one imagined possible when the war began. And that's just the ground forces. Ukraine's aerial drone production has also skyrocketed, up 900% since 2024. What does all this mean for the war? For Putin, it's a nightmare. For Ukraine, it's a revolution. And for the rest of us, it's something to keep watching very closely.